Megabo, Singer KTM Racing, Insect Science going well. They are Keegan Borjakuning and Arnold and Choi. We're talking confidently at the start of the day, and they are ahead of the other South African team in the top 10 Buco Kemcha.
I think the Scott Schramm team and the Victoria team still benefited a little bit from that trails early on. Now we're going to see a bit more flat, boring section, where the big powerhouses are really going to put some time into them. Thiago Ferreira and David Valero, obviously big guys, tall guys, really got the power. Definitely a stage for them as well.
Absolutely, very experienced. They've been around the traps. Valero's an Olympic bronze medalist, and Ferreira, former world champion in the marathon, so they are richly experienced. Colombo on the front now, as the Scott Schramm yellow jersey wearers set a pace. They're down just a little bit. It's very early on then.
Yeah, still very early on in the race. Anything can happen. The big open roads are still to come. Quite surprised that Outright is not in there. Matt Pierce and Keegan, I haven't seen them in the top 10. So I guess the better part for them will be this section now between 20 and 53 kilometers. See if they can make up some time, but those guys are going very well.
One of the many styles go with John over here on the Italian Brilliant Victoria. Just making sure they take on the hydration all the way through today, even though it's a relatively short day, you can do how regularly you keep hydrated.
Well, definitely trying to sit kind of like every 10 minutes or so. You also just need to get that energy in through that bowl. Very important to keep the energy level steady. You can't just throw in a lot of energy all at once. You need to really spread it out over the stage, so that your gut can actually nicely absorb it and your body can transform it into those watts. So important to do that regularly. They're probably just going on energy juice, energy drink and gels. I think that's normally the way to go these days.
RMX women's race now with Rosa Patrona and Melina Verst. It's so exciting to have a young, fresh-faced, young team here.
Yes, definitely. Rosa has really been a rising star in the marathon scene. She's got the European champion jersey. Beautiful how she won that race. Still young, and obviously they're both so motivated, so grateful to be here, to get the chance to represent the team. Janina, she's been the runner-up at the Swiss Championship when I last won the race, and she's already shown like great form. She hasn't had a professional team at that time yet, but she's already been really a hard contender at the time for me. And yeah, I think the biggest challenge for them is kind of getting the nerves out the way. I hope these first days will sort that out and they can really get into the rhythm of things.
Excitement, yeah, it is just wonderful, but they won't see it, but I mean, it's excitement. The vineyards, rolling hills, in the distance, Table Mountain that divide over the Western Cape. It is truly spectacular here at the Absa Cape, as the South Megabo women do their thing an hour away on this time trial. So that's for the day. They actually are riding into the sun and doing early riding today. The later ones for the last ones leaving absolutely just after 11 o'clock this morning. It's a cruel event, really, isn't it? The best riders of the day, the fastest get to finish started. It's a finish nice and early. By 11 o'clock, and those riders have got a long race to the stage. It's relaxing.
Well, that's the one motivation to go past, they can start earlier. What we saw earlier as well is the corrugation. You can't notice it, but as a rider you definitely notice it, and that's why you have a full strength combined. And the short bumps, they are really terrible. Especially if you go slow, it actually makes it worse. So the faster you go over that hill, the less you feel it. It's like riding on cobbles. And I think Filippo Colombo knows all about riding on cobbles. He's done it a tiny day before. Unfortunately, he didn't have a good race day. He crashed really badly and broke his elbow, which actually got the Olympic qualification. He tried really, really hard to get in to Olympics for Swiss team at the time, but due to his broken elbow, he was not quite able to make it.
Lotta and Alexa Siskala on the weekend, the 30 into the strand there. It's making along with the super track as they meet Cannondale on the prologue. They're second on their general classification. Alexis is sitting on the front bed. Yeah, both very, very strong. This has been the time on. And here, I reckon, yeah, there's a big experience surviving the rubbish. This is a very, very lucky thing. As close as you can get in a way as you have to go very close. All in. Yeah, they're bobbing. All that you take there. Just keep the presence of mind. So look up.
Yeah, really encouraging right here. Probably watching out for that little elbow trick, you know, when it can come to the front. Important to still communicate well. So basically now it's just two of them and you really have to set that car exactly right. You don't want to spend a match by trying to get back onto the opposite wheel around after a corner or anything like that. You want to get that exact right pace for each other, and that means you really need to communicate well with each other. If you burn up your partner, you're really going to pay a price for it.
Yeah, you see the gas, but within the VIVO, they rotate the entire car. The entire car, there's no one longer at the front, but maybe a couple minutes and then they rotate again. As long as they keep fresh, as long as they both are at the same level, that's what we're going to do. That keeps it high. And also keep an eye on the wind. Sometimes being right behind the tire is not the best position. Sometimes next to each other makes it more sense. And it's a little thing. You look at that tree, you look at the dust in front of you, and their goal is definitely to get into the side where they can see the team in front of them. That gives you another boost. And it's going to be interesting to see if we can actually manage and keep the right today.
Tell you that the Absa piece there has gone through the 35 kilometer marker, 9 minutes 38.
Fantastic. Good to know that it's all running.
Going very well. That's what we're doing. That's the team that Ariane's looking after.
Yes, obviously racing team. We've got the team in 22. This was all riders from underrepresented country, and this year we've actually got a full Basuki team. The first full Basuki team ever racing together. A country that's very under-resourced, and therefore to race athletic, a race of this magnitude, obviously, the World Premier Mountain Bike Stage race is really not something that any Basuki rider would take for granted. Contrary, it's really, really difficult just to ride a bike, just to never ride a bike at home unless you do. The kids really look up to him, and all they want to do is just run past their bike. So it's really beautiful to see the best of former Olympians, basically the pioneer in the country, paving the path for Cannondale. He's went to the Rio Olympics, and they have qualified every university to race at Olympics, and Cannondale was coming second, and then he was like, okay, if I race, if I reach the best of I can maybe go to the Olympics. So he really changed that view.
Fantastic story, and a wonderful that they are on this race, as we are on the time trial 66k from Cannondale to Fairview Pole, and that is the journey today. Right, we are watching a team that you know rather well, Dennis.
Yes, at least I can see that my wife ready to the start line. I can see everyone but now she's there at the front.
Get to the school, ready to go down.
Yes, this is a good picture to see for me here.
This is a great picture to see for the Scott Brown team. Filippo Colombo driving the pace on the front there. Lino should right on his wheel. Knows that there could be an candidate location in the lane between the riders on the world-class rider. And he just missed it. So we're going to call it jumping again.
Yeah, yes. Got the aero helmet as well. I was not touched it. Let's look at that.
Yeah, so Scott's Grand MTB racing getting into their work now, 45 and 26 on the 22.5, but now 2 seconds ahead of the second place in the Victoria. Then their speed can be lost a little bit of time, 3 down here in Toronto. That's Sarana and Pereira, 9 seconds. Then it's Buff, Megabyte, Bernardo. It's a little change further down, and Luco on 6 seconds in signs that was for the Bentley and the South African team. Luco gets back in the red jersey this planet, but it's 10 times going really, really well. And so are the brothers from New Zealand. They are doing very nicely. They're coming into their own game. Then over the second of the road race championship in this year, so he's really got a good form.
Very powerful riders, those two. And definitely in runners, they might know each other pretty well as well. So it's good to stay to them.
Across the road, and there'll be a few of those road crossings today that make their way towards what we won't see it necessarily in this light yet, because the sunshine of the burns out light, but that'll be the sort of one feature they can focus on in the distance, these riders.
Yeah, it's definitely a good indication when you ride towards the mountains. At least you see where you need to go, where the time of what the finish line is going to be. Always motivate as well. And there's a little bit of wildlife. Hopefully it's not interfering too much with the riders here, but yeah, that's enough to want for your other time drive and one of those
people there. It looks initially like Dale Rabbit and then Guinea Fowl as well.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
But those things, they're always on they're just running behind you. That's the way. So they can be tricky. They can actually, if they go into your wheel, that's not going to be pretty.
They changed that very quickly, they do. So you have the partner and Andrew still dig into the business. Yes, sandy, loose terrain. It's not just we talk so much about the speed jump and the we talk a lot about how this all super ladies and the time up. There's this as well.
yeah, this is
the right bike race.
right. Like for time drive, if you fit on a time drive, you have skinny tires, all those kind of things in mind, but not this way.
Yeah, and Andy can tell us actually put his hands about it all is that we'll get you up, right? Step on, step on. Step on, can you hear it? Tell us about what that terrain is like. You know, first down. Entry. Headwind. Like almost anywhere yeah, we're having a few difficulties in making clear contact with Stefan on the bike there. He's keeping empty tempo running just behind Stephen Speed John and there's a relevant style of Ricardo Singer. The team who combined the night before the event.
Also see, it's quite sandy out there, and that's difficult to be on the partner's wheel in that case, because we actually wanted to really keep as straight as possible. As soon as you just have the front wheel a little bit skew, you actually brake a lot, and you still have the power.
Those such sandy sections can stop you, slow the convention very quickly indeed.
It's hard to keep balance if you chest on the wheel, so you want to actually keep this a bit of distance for keeping it easier, but obviously then you lose the slipstream. So it's a tricky situation to understand.
Ramstein on the front of the challenge and marathon champion, hugely experienced for state winner here, and his second speed jump. So this is preparing big stuff just before the event, but they have risen themselves nicely to podium and go to the speed jump as well, overall potential. Maybe this is their year, who knows? Long way to go. Time trial though is a key factor in this year's race. Some teams will make gains on it, others might not, and suffer a bit to limit their losses and know that this isn't the day for them, but those days are coming. The team of teacher goes to the front.
Cannondale is from your area, South Tyrol, right?
Yes.
So he speaks German as well.
He speaks German as well. I guess his mother language, or I know his mother language is actually Austrian German. We probably grew up 30 k's apart. Different generation almost. But yeah, also beautiful area up there with the big Dolomites. And yeah, seeing him here brings a little bit of like home to South Africa for me as well.
There we go, and the Lucas down over there. The speed company went through that checkpoint at 15 kilometers over the fastest team, but right now they are going to go into the 22.5 kilometer time of curve in third place, 3 seconds off with the searing pace set by Scott Graham by Racing leadership and VIVO Colombo with Ria Victoria in the third. So that's the podium, the virtual podium on the GC at the moment, and they are standing true to that. Yes, Colombo enjoyed a really good day. We haven't seen a lot of them yet, but that's Xiaomi and David Serrano. They are very experienced and big, powerful men that will enjoy this type of life today.
We should actually appreciate how incredible Nino and Miss Colombo are riding. I mean, Nino is about 175 tall, and Xiaomi is around 190 tall. And obviously got much bigger levers, much more power. And to make that up on the track, that's incredible. We really have to appreciate that performance of Nino and Colombo.
Carlotta flying down the trail, so lovely on the time trial there today to have the freedom of the travel.
Beautiful, yeah, nice little gap up there.
No other rides around. Beautiful, beautiful visuals from the side of the mountain today. Skirting around the Korsberg, they up this trail on the time trial, and beautiful to see them going down here.
Yeah, there are also worked along those skills. He was used in the past. He was more focusing on the road. He went to the Olympics on the road, and really moved those skills along over the years. Being very smoothly the corners now, actually making up time on her competition in the technical stuff. So it's all learnable still, and we are great to see her putting in so much effort to improve her skills.
What was it a couple of years ago? Triple Cortina, put by the rider who's shot lines up in the road changes. There's a lot of change. He did very up here, but wow, absolutely
She
smashed.
had a fantastic ride as very young there. I saw her in the front group. I'm talking about Singapore from
Yeah.
Mauritius. Yes, that's right. Wearing the Mauritius jersey in the pro peloton. But we also had Annika Lampard actually rode Strade a few years back and came second.
Yeah.
It was a little bit of a spontaneous decision to change the leader's position since Anna Blinken at the time didn't feel so well, and then they put Annika Lampard as the designated leader, and she just grabbed the opportunity to come second at Strade Bianche a few years ago.
Yeah, incredible performance because, yes, mountain bike, well, completely different. It's very small amount of athletes that can actually make the gap and really perform at the highest level in both disciplines. A couple of road riders that, yeah, still have to come to the Cape Epic as well and prove them. I think there was few doing the Cape Epic, but yeah, very little. Not the Cape Epic, the World Cup, but they haven't done the Cape Epic yet. So interesting to see if that's going to happen hopefully soon.
Yeah, I was always hoping that we see more from country riders coming out here. The race is extremely tough, and there was examples before, like when Maya was talking about that. Basically, had to ride off the cross-country season after Cape Epic of sickness, and not quite recovering from it afterwards. So that always held back the cross-country riders a little bit, because for them they could get on the short stuff. But maybe, if you see, we saw Post Factory last year, we saw Monavik and Walmer, Cannondale last year battling out against each other, and they had a great season afterwards, so I hope to see more women coming from the cross-country scene over to the race.
Just to contextualize this year's scenario is that the World Cup starts in less than 3 weeks in Brazil. So that's as close as the Africa Cup has been to the start of the World Cup, other than in 2018 when the World Cup started before the Africa Cup because it was here in South Africa. So that's one of the main reasons that there are so few of the cross-country races across men and the women. Only really 4 of the very top flight, the mountain flight cross-country races are here in the men's category, and these are 2 of them, Simone Albergetto and Luca Brado. And it's one of those little soft spots about this race is how they are going to go towards the end of the year, bearing in mind that in 2 weeks they're going to be sitting in Brazil starting the World Cup. Likewise, Nino and Filippo. Nino didn't have the press conference. He didn't really know how you're going to go, how you're going to finish your World Cup. But I don't know because I don't know people.
No, but that's also, as a pro athlete, you lay down your calendar for the season, not just to build up from one race to the other. But of course, if you do something like Kentucky, you highlight that the season is not going to be the first World Cup in Brazil, right? So you highlight that the season is going to be a little bit later. But there's also one Kentucky only a year, so there's 10 World Cups to figure it out. And the chance that you're going to win all 10 of them is impossible. The level is so high, so you need to have your highlights throughout the season. So you can manage the season very well up in Kentucky, compromise your first 2 World Cups in Brazil, perhaps, but then start your highlights the World Cup season a little bit later is also a great way to step this season. And I think the key word there might be perhaps because it is an unknown area, so maybe you get to the World Cup and you're firing. Milo did.
Yeah.
3 years ago, he said he won Brazil. He was 30K pancake, and then straight from here, a couple of days back to Switzerland, but straight down to Brazil, and he won the World Cup. So you do not know how it's going to play out, but again, like the World Cup season is long. It's over 6-7 months now, and there's different highlights that you set yourself, and for the media, for the preparation. Okay, I think it's a huge event. I think, as I said so, they race more hours within this week of Atlantic than they do at the World Cup, right? So the experience you gain, the power, the training, everything you gain within this race. And also the media aspect that you get from the Atlantic. This is the two of the closest mountain bike. It's such an important event, and not being here is definitely a moment.
Well, wonderful images being brought to you from out on the trail as Nino Schurter and Filippo Colombo do their thing in the yellow jerseys. That's phenomenal from the helicopter and the motorbike down there. We talked about the second to none on this motorbike straight race. It's made careers for sure, the Africa Cup. These gentlemen have careers in other disciplines. But many teams we talked about our teams of bikes and riders have created a whole new lifestyle and a life and a career out of the Africa success.
That was definitely the case for me. The Cape Epic was my biggest goal for the year, and it basically allowed me to be a professional athlete, to do my passion professionally, turn it into professional. I'm very grateful for that. It's so important to get the media coverage at a race. That's basically the return on investment for our sponsors and the way for the professionals to make a living.
How did that impact your year thereafter? You've ridden the Epic, you've won the Epic, so did that open doors for you?
For sure. The first time I won the Epic was in the mixed category. We were very basic. We were sleeping in the tents. We were fixing our own bikes. We were washing our own bikes. We were massaging each other's legs. And the next year we had a little bit more support, and we just went from very, very basic and just slowly made our way up. So it really helped.
But outside of the Epic environment, once you won the Epic with Alex, did that open doors Europe?
It's still very hard to make a living out of the sport. Everyone's always loved your career. I'm definitely more known for South Africa than I am in Switzerland. But in the industry, I think people kind of know my name, but because I changed my name from Cannondale to Lucy throughout the years, that also made it a little bit problem.
Well, here we go, the two race leaders on your screen right now, the yellow jerseys from Filippo Colombo and Vino Schurter, and the orange RMX women's leaders, Anna Galanto and Sophia Gomez-Villapan on the right-hand side. Spectacular stuff, bringing you the live action on this time trial. 66 Ks of sensational racing from Mirador to Paul. Paul is awaiting us. It is a straight-through destination, and third, you are so hyped and prepared to welcome the Absa for the first time to their parts, and we're going to have many days there to enjoy their hospitality and, of course, the ride to fill and enjoy the incredible crowd network that has been built up over the years, and more particularly over the last few years, and the crowd network has done an amazing job to create a network worthy to hold 2 full days of the Absa.
We'll see the iconic rocks of Paul, the 2 paddles, the pearls of Paul probably. Beautiful rock formation in Paul. They also get very hot granite stone, and they really do keep the heat very well, and we definitely will see that tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be an extremely hot day.
Yeah, we're quite happy to see that actually. They're going to feel it.
They're going to feel it. Yeah, that sweat is going to dry very quickly.
Darren Hurst made us a bit of yesterday. He's the man behind Carl Club, and basically managed to have driven the rejuvenation of the trail network there. And he said it might be, particularly for the 38 degrees down on the Great Village tomorrow the next day. He said up on the far rock of the bowl there, it's going to be likely to be 42, 44 degrees. So they're going to be riding up there. The story for another day.
Yeah, let's get this one over.
Meanwhile, we are watching this incredible combination.
Just look how, such power legs, such strong hips. You know, that power just comes straight out of the hips. She really doesn't have any sideways movement. Just such power glutes and legs. I can't.
So she's sitting behind Sophia here, just happy with the pace there.
Look, she also needs to break now and then. Then you have to rotate for sure. You know, you're actually wasting someone if you just have someone at the whole way in the front. So you need to work at the team. Be smooth with the turns that you take, and always be aware of the wind from which side that one blows.
And you could see she was also taking nutrition. So as soon as you rotate, you go to the back, you in the slipstream, you take a bit of a sip out of your bottle, a bite of your ball, whatever it is, and then as soon as it's in your stomach, you swallow it down, then you have the energy again. The same now for Sophia, she does the exact same. She's in the back, she takes that jelly, whatever it is, it's easier to stay on the wheel when you're in the back there, less effort, and they think about it, you can see very close to the ball.
And they've got 2 balls in their bikes. The first pro feed zone is only at 47 kilometers, so that's quite far into the stage. And you definitely go through these 2 bubbles until you reach your support staff. That's going to have them a new bubble, and I'm guessing that will only be 1 because then it's only 20 minutes from there to the finish.
Give you a few minutes. Flying at the moment, just looking at it through the insect time cycle, just on the 45 kilometer mark that they're on track to finding that there as the fastest speed now to 30, 38 there. So they are on a really, really good day. They did dictate the finish today. The other teams are still to reach there. Meanwhile, the leading women are charging on the Anna Galanto and Sophia Gomez-Villapan. Let's catch a little update on their times. This is they set the benchmark times. Move it out to settle for Anna Galanto. Falls flat in the flick of the head. Into the track.
Just indicating the direction. Oh, that's a very sharp turn. Whoops. And then we're off. Oh, she needs to run that. Not ideal. She's gonna have to work hard to catch that wheel again. That's gonna hurt a bit. I hope Sophia knows about it and just have looks over her shoulder to see where Annika is, so she doesn't have to chase too long to get back on that wheel.
Tricky one, Matt, because you need a bit of a method to get over the
Yes,
side.
if you don't see that early enough, you kind of in the zone, you know, like you get it going with your vision and you're just powering on, and then to see that arrow correctly in the moment and react quickly. Because they didn't pre-ride this trailer, they see that the first time. It's not like a road countdown where you go recon the whole stage. So they don't know what's coming, and you have to react really quickly.
But from yesterday's stage, from various lines, we got the impression that it was the bunch, the women's aeronautics, the elite bunch yesterday, over the first half of it, was pretty spicy in there yesterday.
I didn't see it, I was so upset my feet, but I can only imagine it was obviously open road, so it was too close together. I guess so.
Yeah. There was an 8 race, and then the 8 race in the beginning, everyone sprinted for, and we had a bit of a dynamic in there. Everyone wants to go through that first. There was a bit of a crash involved, riders were taken down, so that just fights
the top of the road, you know, that stage one, everyone still got the leg, everyone still wants to be there first.
Everyone still thinks they're going to win.
Of course, you know, you need to go with that mentality into the race. You simply find each other for that track, and the 8 race. I think it's a little bit weird if you don't get them right. I think also the amateur riders will, some will probably be a little bit afraid of them, because if you don't lose balance at the top, it's a whole race to pull down.
And you need a bit of momentum to get it in, and if you're a big bunch, and then the first one's going to go, then one or two slow, and then eventually someone's going to stop, and you all have to stop down. So, that was interesting. We also had a situation with some of the men were riding through them, but that's all part of the Absa epic. Beautiful scenes. Look at this, across the vineyards and into the mountains with William Victoria charging towards Carl on this wonderful time trial of day 3 of the Absa epic. So we're on the road here with the Lucas Down and the Gale Egger on the road. Meanwhile, we can go to the start, and some of the riders will be heading off all the way through the morning here till around about 11 o'clock this morning. We'll have teams on that start run, and they're all in the order of their GC time. There's only 15 seconds between their start times here, so off they go very, very quickly, and they're ready to roll. And middle down there, that is the Gerard from Andorra there, Johan Turner from Andorra. The charge is on Skada and Lotta. Trying to eat into that lead. They conceded, or they have to try and pull back over 6 minutes on their general classification. Now, the time sheet for the women going through 15K to quite a number, as I say, Sosna and Ferretti.
So we see Cavacina, she's such a machine on the flats. She's incredibly strong, almost very tall. She's, I think, over 184. That is obviously what you need for this kind of stage, providing the major slipstream for Claudia. Who's probably just going to hang on to that wheel, and track as good as possible to get as much slip as possible.
And then Margaret Mukeshi and Samara Shepherd were 27 seconds down, and then Cannondale ISB Sport trying to get Cannondale on and Teddy Woodcup 34 seconds down, third fastest through the 15K. Time sheet at along Megaflow 54 seconds down, and just over a minute down, time racing with the undercut the ankle ball and that's 32.
It must be a mistake because there is specialized Toyota specialized.
Unless they have to reach the years? Yes, probably enough to
That's right. Okay, we see an update probably coming soon.
Coming soon, because we're heading towards the top. three in the general classification. Cannondale and Cycleops were fourth, so Buff Megamode. Then it's Lawson Starter and third Specialized, or Buff Megamode. Down in fourth place. So Cannondale, they go nicely here. They've made us some time. And now, fishing in the XTB Strand, Vera Lotta and Alexa Strada have gone through 17 seconds faster after 15 Ks. 17 seconds faster than Catalina Sosna Tinele and Ricardo Paretti. Very shortly, the leaders will be going through there. This is Sofia Gomez Villafan and partner Aguilar. Back to the men's race. The mountains looming in the distance. And that mountain up ahead is Simonsberg. They'll be going away from that in a short while. But Scott's mountain bike racing after 35 Ks, 2 seconds faster than Buff Megamo. Good ride for them. And Obelia Speed Company dropping down a little. William Vittoria, Luca Rido and Simone Avadetto. Roma down in fifth, Topado. Then the New Zealanders, Singer, Buka, and the first appearance in the top 10 for Matt Beers and Keegan Swenson, 145 down. You make it that, Benno?
Yeah, interesting to see. I mean, 145 down, halfway through, or more than halfway through now. They can still make up some time. And again, you can only ride to your limits. The guys at the front, like, look at this. They're pushing incredibly strong. Amazing. I don't know what to say, but after yesterday's performance, like we thought we saw some cracks within Nino. It was interesting to see. Like he's hanging on the back. You kind of like, oh, he's gonna crack, and then there he is. Like he feeds off. I don't know. If you doubt him, he's gonna surprise you.
Well, and I think we talked a bit about it yesterday. Because he is the man he is, you sort of tend to try and look for anything, any little thing that might give you an idea. So, confirmation that Toyota Specialized are 44 seconds ahead.
Yeah, that's a good gap for them already so early in the stage. See where that one is going. Always need to pace it all the way till the end, not an easy one. For the women, I guess it will be around 3 hours stage. To have the time flow over 3 hours is not easy, because we usually, or as a cross-country rider, you're also used to racing 1.5 hours, and also the prologue is on just over an hour, and then you can't go with your FTP, functional threshold power, as a reference. But here you can't drive on that power. You kind of need to find that sweet spot of power to ride all the way through and still be strong at the end.
The Cannondale ISD team are going well. Except that it's put and Calder on there. They've moved up quite nicely. Buff Megamo back, so don't quite have that raw power that the youngsters can both up and get and doing good.
Yeah, look, they're not very heavy, and I think it's just about are they going to feel their bodies well? Can they settle the nerves very quickly after rolling off the ramp and not go too much early on? I think that will be really decisive. Also just to really know your power, what you can push over 3 hours. That's crucial for this stage.
We had unexpected putting a lot of fun. Yesterday for a while, in fact, Ryan's was watching them come in and talking about how much they were soaking up everything that our team could tell them about them and about what the application ethic and what should and shouldn't be done. So it's always good telling you.
Exactly. You still need to put it in practice.
Never get in there. And that's the learning process.
Exactly. The Ferrari needs to pilot. And it's not always easy to keep that head screwed on, because you're so emotional, it's such a big race, there's so much from the outside coming to you, the media, etc. Just to stay cool in the heat and in the heat of the moment, that's not so easy.
And then the dust is the pickup. The bucky goes past, for those of you viewing from all over the world will know. That's a third reference to the bucky, or it's a pickup that you see on the farm around South Africa all the time. When we go past big ready to dust, Lucas starts sitting in the front of that, team.
I know that position very well. There was many, many hours over the years. Beautiful. That's so stable bike, so solid, no wobble, just all the power to the legs into those pedals, and that makes it just so strong. That gets those triceps off burning slowly. It's really easy to keep that position with your arms to stay low. They're actually doing a little, what do you call that? A plank, yes, a plank for 3 hours. Try and do that I don't think you'll manage.
Still out the center, pushing at the front. Apparently it's quite windy out there. I just want to imagine here the headwind is still there. It's no tailwind at all. There is a bit of breeze in the air. So it's not an easy one.
Now we are sitting with the second team on the route, which is Alexis Garner, just ahead of her Jenna Lawson. The efficient ability to be Strand team, they were 44 seconds down on further sped time after 15 kilometers of 66. So very, very early days. Yeah, 3 hour time trial. This is brutally hard. You do 4 hours of training lines, it's fine. You can put in for coffee, This is all in for 3 hours at least. It's hard work.
Well, the mountain bikers often train alone, and they're quite used to look at the power meter and just work with power. As a road team, I think more used to riding in a group and sitting in the blocks a bit more. So I don't think it's too much of an issue just being steady. I actually preferred it. I wasn't somebody with like a very high power input. I couldn't shift it to the high gear much. I wasn't much of a country rider. So I preferred steady pace and feeling those little snaps in the legs when you had to really push hard.
You're also thinking media, you can see that they're working hard at the electric sky. Just come up to settle up the tempo a little. So how will you communicate to Annika on the bike?
We sent very clear words. It's basically, like pushing the gas on the car. If I said go, it was faster. If I would say hey, it's basically the brake. And if I say yeah, it's keep the sweet spot, keep the pace. And usually it's 3 different vocals that I use, so it's very clear. It's the helicopter, as you see, it makes a hell of a noise. It's the wind in your ears. You hear very badly, you can't hear well, so you need to communicate very you can't say all of the big sentences. You need to have one word that needs to be clear, whether it's going faster or slower.
Communication key to the entire week of the MCK company.
And also very important, it's actually the weaker rider who needs to communicate better. And it's not easy because you don't really want to admit that you're suffering. It's a little bit of a pride thing, to have to say, look, I'm suffering here, please just go slower. It's very hard to hold your partner back because you actually want to be there. You want to go with your partner. And to hold your partner back, especially if you're not in a position of defeat, that's extremely difficult to do, but it's on the weaker partner to communicate, hey, just hold back a little bit because otherwise you're going to blow yourself up.
Yeah, let's also get what you said in her interview with her battery. She said that it's such a hard thing for an athlete to admit that, sorry, but today I'm not the strongest, I can't, I barely can hold the wheel. But she also said, without that communication, you wouldn't be able to, or they weren't able to win the stage, because if you go too hard too early, you're not going to make the finish line. And the communication, like you said.
And it's easy said than done because you need to know so well what you are actually capable of. Because you always hope as an athlete to train to hope for better. That you actually can do this, that you can suffer more and more and more. But that's where you need to know yourself so well to be able to say, hey, until here and not further, because otherwise I'm going to blow up. And that's very, very difficult.
Yeah, and then risky is that that you have to anticipate.
Exactly. Yeah.
You
need to know.
It's done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then get over. Yeah, you may still throw in a challenge hope that they can come back, but it's going to be very, very painful the rest of the day.
Molly Albertetto and Luca Bridle will Victoria on the drive now. And they started very, very well indeed. It's not entirely their sort of capability, the time trial, the cross-country specialists, but they are going solidly enough. 11 seconds down, they started the day in the GC. And right now they were the last checkpoint at the airfield was 35 kilometers, 13 seconds behind the Scotch Grand Prix to that checkpoint. So they're going very solid. You're barely a speed company. They swinging back and forth at 9 seconds back after 35 kilometers behind Scotch Grand. NTD Racing, Nino Schurter and Filippo Colombo. This pair, yeah, what a day yesterday they had in defense of that yellow jersey, trying to keep it bravely and attacking the world's greatest mountain biker on the last of the big climbs. They threw the gauntlet down and only to have it ripped away by a phenomenal descent and then a searing attack within a kilometre and a half of the finish, and that was the race, but only 31 seconds. Look how close those tires are.
Yeah, almost touching. You really have to focus not to touch that wheel and crash yourself, because if you're in that hurt box and seeing a bit blurry with the heat, it can be quickly and you touch the wheel and you're just falling over, and that would be obviously disastrous.
Well, on the helicopter shot, we saw the motorbike alongside there, and you can see the corrugations in the middle of the road. They will be seeking the best line. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, you really want to try and find a smooth line in the middle of the road. You often have a bit more sandy bit. You definitely don't want to be right there. You basically want to be there with cars, wheels, just on the side where the car would normally ride. There where the cars normally ride on the biggest bump. And just next to that there's a little bit of a smooth stripe to try and ride on.
Luca Bridle driving it on the front here, and he had a tough day yesterday, and they all did. And it's the same, it's the same for everybody, whether it's cold or hard or easy, it's the same for everybody. And swaying around, hangs onto that back wheel of the Luca Bridle.
So that's also here where Lucas Baum will use his 48 technique to his best. Now we're climbing again, so it's going to slow down. And yeah, just about that bucky riding past, that's very much that's all going to end up in the lungs of the athlete. And we actually did some inhaling water, just steaming for the lungs to actually care for the lungs, because it's really a problem. A lot of athletes get chest infections just because of the dust and the germs that end up in your bronchs and lungs. That's really something to take care of as well throughout the week.
Yeah, today perhaps was probably the least dusty day in some ways, because they're not in a big bunch. But occasionally those tractors and buses that go past will pick up the dust, but you can't. There is a wind out there, but I think it might be they're going into the end this year. This is the one I'm sure at the moment.
Looks like it's from the left a bit, but it's riding the left side of the big spot. And it looks like a wide road, but like I said, there's not actually a lot of space for a smooth ride on this road. So you just stick to the very smooth part of this big rough road.
Very smooth driving from Filippo Colombo. His upper body is very moving. Very stable position.
I will know the man who said in many ways the benchmark in terms of that 21 so far now. The benchmark was an all-round physical strength and fitness is the man right behind it. You can see the Chibio company. And now you have to do it.
Yeah, it is part of your routine. You need to, especially as a mountain biker, it's not just your legs that are working, it's actually your arms, your upper body. You need to work these bikes to ride a good technique. You slow that handlebar around the corners, and then obviously the faster you go, the harder is gravity on you, and you need to work against it. So your upper body is definitely working hard.
was the long play water points. The second one at 45 kilometers, and Willie Victoria goes through here. Start getting some time checks.
So interesting that they actually grab a thing here, because just 2Ks after this, there will be the team handing them, the support staff handing them their own bottles. And they're actually losing a little bit of time here, but mainly they just ran out of water and just needed to wet their throats.
Yeah, another factor, that communication. We stop thinking, I need something, getting the dynamic right. To go back to what you chat about having that conversation. You handle this way before you sit down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's you don't do that.
Set the boundaries.
Yeah, you talk through that way before you head into the race. You don't want to come up with all these things while you're under pressure and have them back on your toes. Yeah, we also talked about how to fix the mechanical bit of training every time the week before the evening started. How also to communicate. Who's going to do what in which case is mechanical. Annika and the dentist had incredible hands, very skilled hands, like a surgeon, very strong hands as well. I always struggled to crack the chain if I would have needed to break a chain, so that was her task to do in case that it came to that. So yeah, you really talk through all of that beforehand to make sure you understand each other perfectly. Obviously, not every team's got to work that out already, so that's comes kind of with experience as well. And I think Ben or you were playing a big part in that. Preparing your teams ahead of the race, because what you don't know, you don't know.
No, it's super important. Like, it's the mechanical side, but also the rule book. It's another one that a lot of people forget about it.
Yeah.
And then there's so many rules within this race. I remember that the first 5-6 years we were busy writing this rule book because there wasn't anything like the Cape Epic out there before, and the amount of things that can happen within this race, you would never come up by yourself with it to cover it all. And the mechanic part, you're limited with what you can take with. At least now we just saw them going to 1 out of 2 tech zones today. There is more material in there that you can grab, you can change your wheels. Most of the time, 90% of the time, it is an issue on the tires, sometimes on the drivetrain as well. But it's key to know the equipment and everything as well.
I was about to say, look at this. So there's a change here. About Megabyte have gone through that 45K, and it's the fastest team. And Pereira and Serrano are going very well for the 8 kilometers. Scott's going to be 26 seconds down now. It's really Victoria also lost some time. Albeit it's a speed company, just 3 seconds behind them. So that's a little goal for them. But the dynamic changes. It's doing its job yet a long time trial.
Incredible riding of Bas Megabo. We also need to know Bas Alleman was meant to ride with Hans Becking originally. Hans wasn't feeling all too great. He had illness, he was sick leading up to the race, so he gave his team seat to teammate Martin Stockton, who came in to ride with Bas Alleman kind of last minute. So that's a very new pairing actually, last minute pairing. Although Martin Stockton is obviously not new to this race at all. He's been in the leader's jersey. He's almost won it a few years ago before Australia.
Before
took it off their back on the last stage.
Yeah, they did. Remarkable stage in Cannondale that sort of roofed it up and right away from that. Albeit that Celtic is back at I think a few issues with themselves health-wise during that stage. But yeah, Celtic and Alleman leading after that 45K checkpoint ahead of Serrano and Oliveira, that is Pereira, Absa Colombo, just 7 seconds in that there. So those two are really roaring along here. Lucas now and again Ortega. Well, this is Correct, who's going to the time of celebration to the big powerful men they are. They leave that road
Going back to Bas Alleman, the Belgian champion, Belgian Cycling Nation. Most likely country, surprisingly. They're all focusing on the spring classics at the moment, but last season in Country France, has the also champion, and he's a big powerhouse as well, he's a tall rider, so definitely not in the top seconds, keeping off the hill.
Classics, the road, and Cycleops.
Yes, and the one that's over.
Yeah, that is over.
That is over, thank you.
That's the other focus.
Yeah, man.
That Cycleops got absolutely
Should be a party.
Yeah, I love it.
My dad was rugby used to South Africa, it's cycling across the Vegas, right?
In the weekend,
In the
Yeah, they're not afraid of mother over there.
So, this is a good time. They've got to keep going, keep powering, and this is the deep end, 13 kilometers to go. The deep end with a time power up. The race of truth on your road, even worse perhaps, but the two of you here just have to bury yourself, bearing in mind your partner might be suffering. That communication now becomes even more critical. This is when it gets to the hard part of the race.
It just seems to me that Whitman is now quite a bit in front, exceptionally a shorter rider of the two. I would have expected that maybe Bill would be leading a bit more, but maybe it's just a moment that we see here, and we'll get that great camera is on then.
They must go into the climb now after the control goal. So we will see them climb and also going back into single track. So I guess in the plan, yeah, the others were just stronger, maybe better dynamics, and yeah, the gaps could come down again a little bit more at that last section with the city track coming up.
Yeah, it will be interesting what's going to happen in the last bit, how that's going to change the whole stage ranking when we see a little bit more climbs in there, and also so we see now Wout Alleman with Martin Stossek, the Czech champion. Is he the only Czech in the UCI? Jaroslav Kulawi was here last year, but not this year. So he's wearing the flag of the Czech Republic.
Let's look at that.
Yes.
Also motivating.
Great effort of the Barcelona team. Wout Alleman was in yellow last year with Hans Becking. So he definitely wants to grab that yellow jersey again in this week. Very motivated for this race, great forward for this race. Tall rider that is powering through on the flats here. Off speed, a great stage for him.
Going very well indeed, and Martin Stossek, yeah, I'm thinking it was a really tough decision for him to take. Definitely wants to do well at this event, but it's a team decision, yeah.
That's very good.
Very, very difficult decision to take. Belgium's well represented here, of course. Very banal, Martin and Simon, Kevin, Anna Hazen, and the Chapel Prize Club.
I know that one a little bit. My boyfriend, yeah, also riding, I think it's 8 epic and 8 partner epics as well. And I'm happy with it. Partners pulling ill last year with after the shelter from Switzerland, who fell ill already before the race, and then was really suffering through that epic. So was Manuel Fleet the year before, who was also out with the tummy bug, and Polly also came in last minute to team up with France. So France wasn't quite lucky, but Kevin looks like very solid. Although France this year had a bit of a cold going into the race, but hopefully he can just ride it out and not make it worse.
They've just been through Fremont-Fontaine Estate, the final water point, and there, Buck Megaboat set the fastest time as the race leader, 1:56.21, the second fastest at that stage, under Cyril and Jakob Hartmann, 50 down, so they've been all there. But the Fremont-Fontaine is one of the trailheads for the power trails, so here you can go and get a permit and start riding these wonderful trails with circle the farmhouse and hand over the farm as well.
And did you see here Vera just overtaking the Buck girls?
Very well, let's see that now. Yes, this is what is it, Bonjour?
That's a little bit knock on the head for the Buck girls. I should say, when you see that team coming past you, mentally very hard to digest. You really need to do your petrol here to yourself and keep positive, keep pushing, powering on, and refocus to not lose more time to that team.
It's the women's category here, Rosa Padron and Yanina was just learning all about what it takes to perform at the Absa. I think they certainly are right up there, starting today in third place. So we've just seen them passed by the very strong Olympic starting there also.
Important now, there's the rule that they may not cross off each other. That rule is fairly new to the South Africa as well. And Rosa now needs to leave that gap. 5 meter gap is the rule, and it's Rosa's. Rosa needs to leave that gap.
Go under the R44 now. This is Lucas Baum and then Kale Gega.
Going up these cobbles that are also not very smooth to ride on. Definitely a lot of resistance on that as well.
So they are heading through these wonderful farmlands, the equestrian estates just over the R44.
Gail just taking in some food.
Of the amount equestrian estate, stunning part of the world, the olive and wine, and of course the horses. Julia Victoria, Luca Rado, and Simone Abendeto.
They could be brothers, they're not very much the same physique, which obviously helps because if you two very different types of riders, it's quite difficult to feel for each other. And the more equal you are, the easier it is to work together. And same for these guys, both very tall riders, both very powerful. The Spanish and the Portuguese partnership here. Thiago Pereira, power, he's known for his relentless power on the flat. He won the Marathon World Championship in Absa in France back in 2016, a while ago, and Thiago Pereira still going strong in the cross country. Incredible. He won that bronze medal in Tokyo Olympics and still up there in the World Cups.
Yeah, one of those who switches that has been quite comfortable.
Yeah, he's good marathon rider.
Well, they are chasing hard. Last Megamose said through that 58k very much contain water point as the fastest comfortable marker. They are on a fly, right on an explosive. This is a day they can move themselves right into the general classification picture. They were outside the top 10 at the start of the day, but they are flying now. That is Alamanca and explosive.
And then they also needed a day just to find each other a little bit. Not easy just to be paired so shortly before the race, and obviously for Martin, who hasn't quite, he wasn't set up to race the Epic a while ago, so now he's in Team A of Best Bus Megamo, and obviously need to live up to the expectations.
So the benchmark time at the moment, at the finish already across the line of the RH7 Battery Racing Team, Philip Grutinger and Johnny Rudela. Two men who know their way around the road, race the road bike, and capitalising on that experience to put in a really good first time. The latest 3:25.22, 2 hours 25 minutes 22 seconds. With the Venus racing Alex Rosenga and Arne Janssen in second place 2:33. So that will give you an idea as we see the race leaders now taking the full control here and passing one of the slower heats. That might be a little bit different. Anyway, it is Alegalanco and so here goes Biafan now. And they've in fact just
getting through that rough section here. That's also tricky not to catch your wheel on one of these ruts. Sometimes from the tractors there's like these ruts, and if you're so close on the wheel of your partner, you really have to be careful not to be suddenly caught up by those. all looks easy and smooth, but it's much more difficult than we see here.
22.5 mark. Toyota Specialized had a 1 minute and 20-second lead over efficiently 30 SCB SRAM. There are also Alexa Scott. And then it was Japan Kenda MSA, Lina Sosa, and Nicola Ferretti, who has been picking out. This is a pair that could really move up today.
Yeah, for sure. And also in the week, they both speak. So Katarzyna is from Lithuania, being the Lithuanian champion since ever I knew her. I think she's just earned this jersey for all her career. She's riding for an Italian team, speaks very well Italian, so the communication between the two of them definitely smooth and easy. And Claudia, who was on the podium of European Championships before, very strong rider from Italy, done extremely well at Italian races, won some great races there, been the Italian champion, a country that's definitely had extremely strong marathon riders.
The red jerseys in the men's race, this is Tristan Nokia and Marco Hubert, and the Buco Chemchamp A team, recovering after a tough day yesterday, but doing a sound job as they head towards their home trails. This pair, and Marco Hubert and Tristan Nokia, looking to retain that jersey. Mind you, the pair from Insect Science, Arnaud du Toit and Keegan Botchakun, were looking like a team on a fly today. They were fit fastest going through the Freymans Fontaine, bearing in mind that not all teams have gone through there yet. But what about the pair from Imbuco? Well, they are going along well enough. I think perhaps of those teams looking at maybe just saying, right, we'll use this as an opportunity to do a little bit of recovery and see how we feel after yesterday's hard day. And if we've got something left in the tank over the last 15-20, we'll press. Here's the yellow jerseys. No longer the leaders in the virtual stage at the moment. Bart Alleman and Martin Stosek have that.
Yeah, it would be interesting to know if they get any time splits while they're out there racing. Also something very important to keep an eye on if you have the chance, if there's any of your teammates along the road that can shout you some splits. They need to be accurate, also from the staff side. The information that we give to the rider must be on point, even that needs to be communicated. And you also need to know the rider, what they want to know and what they don't want to know. You don't want to demotivate them by giving them the wrong time splits, or maybe the bigger goal, you have to bring it down to something like the team in front of you, the GC position and stuff like that. So if you have the chance, you definitely want to know where you are with the time. Live timing onto the device is also possible lately, and that's probably something that some of the teams are using, especially in the time trial stage. And right now, I think still other teams too, for a point.
Nina is struggling a little bit. It was a bit of a gap there to Filippo. Maybe that effort is paying a little bit on him.
Sorry, Darian. First look there at Mark Pritson and Vessel Boert, the South African marathon champion, the former red jersey wearers. Back to and Filippo.
Yeah, and I think it's also a bit harder for cross-country riders to pace themselves over such a distance. For a marathon rider, that's a little bit more daily business. If you ride the big climbs in Europe, you're basically doing a 1.5 hour time trial up the mountains, and you're a bit more used to that constant effort. For cross-country riders, definitely a bit more of a challenge, I would say, to really keep that pace. But that's why the two of them, they've got the power meters, and they definitely got the coaches telling them, which number they need to ride on. But still, in your head, it's not easy. It's not easy to keep yourself motivated to stick to that power. You really need to push yourself mentally really, really hard.
Well, these pair are doing this, and we know they are not using power meters, Grado and Amadetto, as far as we can ascertain. So they are riding on feel and instinct as Buff Megamo through that 58k, 58 and a half, 156.21. BH Coloma, 46 seconds down. Outright Toyota Songa, Matt Beers and Keegan Swenson. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome
Yes.
to the party.
You can see on that section, that open section, the guys made up some great time. But not all the teams are through that
Not yet, yeah.
checkpoint yet, but you can see they definitely made up some time. Matt Beers must have pushed some decent watts down, so it's good to see them coming through.
We're on the bike and on the trails, heading towards the finish of this time trial on day 3, stage 2 of the Absa Cape Epic in 2025, with the yellow jerseys in Nino Schurter and Filippo Colombo of Scottstrand MTB Racing. Well, they've had a really good day, and the key to them will be to retain those yellow jerseys, which they are, well, at the moment on course to do. It can change, there's no question about that. This time trial is seeing all sorts of dynamics thrown up, riders and teams coming to the fore and putting their names in lights to try and make things hard for the yellow jerseys. But at the moment on the route at 58 kilometers, which is just 8 kilometers from the finish, Baf Megamo, Bart Alman and Martin Stosek find themselves in the lead by 46 seconds from BH Columbus, David Serrano and Thiago Ferreira. Then it's outright Toyota Songa, Matt Beers and Keegan Swenson. They're making their way into the key area of this race, but this pair still to get through there, and Schurter and Colombo looking over the shoulder, making sure each other's okay and on the wheel there. It is the deep end of a 66k time trial. This is when it starts really hurting.
And it starts climbing, so well, it actually is a little bit easier on the climbs to push hard, and they're definitely looking forward to just a moment of downhill where they can just get the pressure off the legs. It's very hard to be sitting on the saddle and pushing on for so long on the flats. That's not what they're used to in cross country. That basically never happens, so that's a different situation for them.
BH Coloma, that's Pereira is really dying as he comes through there. Thiago Ferreira, David Serrano. At the finish, I can tell you that they've just been pipped at the finish, in fact, because GBA Gold, Greg van Avermaet and Julian Simons had posted the fastest time, and in a flash, Daniel van der Walt and Urshan Special, the Computer Mania Cannondale youngsters, have gone fastest at 2:21.06. So those times coming in thick and fast. They'll keep changing that dynamic as they go through, but that is at the finish of this stage at Spice Route Destination and Fairview. Meanwhile, in these trails, and yeah, we've had a lot of open road, and now at the finish, this is when it becomes a little trickier and more technical.
Yeah, this is super fast going through there, pushing as hard